Bitcoin is doing exactly what we want to see it do right now. We have managed to hit this area of resistance up here, which is the same area that Bitcoin topped out in before. But if we take a closer look at how we've actually interacted with this level and that subsequent drop down, we are right now, I think, doing way better than what happened last time. See, last time we messed around for a little bit after this rejection and then dropped down like a rock. In this case here, when we started to make that drop after messing around for a little bit, we have done far better. We haven't dumped as quickly, we haven't dumped as low, and we've also now got, and this is the same thing I was warning you guys about on this YouTube channel days ago. If you've been subscribed, you're going to know about this. We've now got this beautiful area of support starting to form, where previously actually we were finding some pretty consistent, useful, predictable resistance here with this 𝗢𝗙𝗥𝗙𝗚𝗓. This is now turning into support, which we may very well be able to use to rally on a little bit higher. So I want to break this down for you. Obviously it's not ideal that Bitcoin has lost its first area of support right here. We were bouncing off it quite nicely. I was warning you guys that this could end up serving as some sort of support for Bitcoin as well. And it did do that. We found support originally when we got that breakout. We came back to get another bounce. It didn't quite work out. We got that swing failure pattern to the upside right here and came right back down. It wasn't really even a swing failure pattern. It's really just a wick. And then we came down and found support here again, but unfortunately it has now flipped. And that does mean that we might be finding some more resistance here now. So we're going to have to watch this to see how this does play out for Bitcoin right here. If we do start finding resistance, then, you could make an argument that we're going to start dipping back down into this range right here. And if we actually take a look at where Bitcoin is with the broader situation right now in this market, what I can see quite clearly, ladies and gents, is that we did have a few key levels right here. I could actually probably drop another line right here where, more or less what we've got is, this range where Bitcoin was trading sideways for quite a long time. With a few exceptions, Bitcoin traded here for basically a month, so quite a long time, and we're not back in this range yet. So really for me, I'm gonna be a little bit annoyed with Bitcoin if we get back into this range. That said, we could definitely use it as support. So, let's not turn our backs on it too quickly, not yet at least. But what we do have right now is a good amount of support. We've also got support right here, which is phenomenal. And if we start taking a look at some of our key indicators that provide momentum, we have actually failed all of our 4-hour EMA support. However, on the daily time frame, it's a little bit more unclear. What we've done on the daily time frame here is we've broken out of resistance. We're potentially coming back down for that back test. It is not a strong argument right now. It doesn't look amazing for Bitcoin. I'll be completely honest with you guys, given the fact that we have dropped down this much, and especially because this could have been a week of consolidation. If we take a look at this chart on the weekly, in order to really step back and appreciate what is going on with this chart, what we could have seen, was a week of price action where more or less we just consolidate, and that would have been really nice. It would have been really nice to see Bitcoin, and I've been talking to you guys about this kind of sideways theory for Bitcoin, which is really not exciting at all. You guys got to keep in mind, like for me as a YouTuber to tell you guys that Bitcoin might just trade sideways for the next few months is like the worst fucking thing I could do for the algorithm. But the truth is the truth regardless. And what I would have loved to see is a little bit of consolidation here, forming some sort of bull flag and then moving to the upside. But unfortunately, the market doesn't quite look like it's going to give that to us. Obviously, this chart is delayed by a day, but we have seen a little bit of a tumble down on this daily time frame right here, and that's more or less kind of what we are looking at the moment. So it's really nothing horrific. We're pulling back after trending up, and this is something that I want you guys to be keeping in mind. We have formed a pretty good leg up in this trend so far, I would say. It's definitely not like what we did over here, which was more or less just a liquidity grab. We have had a much more sustainable rally to the upside here, and if we really kind of break down what we are seeing, without the fear and whatever that generally does consume people in the crypto markets, if you really just kind of take a step back and breathe and understand what's going on in the market here, I think what we've seen here is pretty straightforward. I think that from this point up until the current point in the market, what we've done is we've trended up, and then we've paused. We've formed a beautiful kind of bull flag of some sort of bullish pennant, and then we've continued that trend up to set a new high, which is absolutely beautiful. So far, everything is working exactly as we'd expect. And where previously we had what's called a time-based correction. The price just went sideways. Now we're having a price-based correction. That's the way I see it right now. I'm keeping it really simple. You guys know me. I know all the complex shit about trading that everybody else talks about, and I simply choose to not discuss it or even consider it because the basics work way better than most people think, and they've served me so incredibly well that I'm making way more money than people applying all of these extremely complex ideas in the market anyway, still sitting on a beautiful profit where I've more than doubled my money right here. And of course you guys know what's been going on with my Tron trade as well. Let me see if I can pull that up for you guys right here. Here's the Bitcoin trade. Here's the Tron trade. I mean, these are slightly outdated screenshots now, but let's see where Tron is as well. I'm curious. I haven't actually looked at the chart today. It's been a bit of a flying day for me. Yeah, Tron is still doing super well. In fact, against Bitcoin, it's probably actually gained a little bit of strength right here. Yeah, so we're holding pretty strong for Tron against Bitcoin right here, which is absolutely fantastic. So, I'm pretty happy with what I've been able to pull off in this market. And of course, that's, always just using the very, very simple principles that I always talk to you guys about on this YouTube channel. I do want to highlight to you that, of course, if you're looking to trade on Bybit, you've got this beautiful link down here that's going to give you up to $30,000 in free cash. Slightly below that, you're also going to be getting access to my free trading package worth $100, where I'm teaching you a lot of the key psychological lessons I've learned as a trader across my years in the market. If you're already on Bybit but you haven't been referred by me, just follow those steps to get it. Otherwise, reach out to me, send me your UID. But something else that's really cool that I wanted to just highlight to you is that they have now launched what's called unified trading accounts. And what this is, more or less, is let's say you hold a shitload of XRP because you're a fucking idiot and you don't want to let go of it because you're underwater or whatever the deal may be. If you still want to trade, if you still want to go long on Bitcoin, short on Ethereum, whatever the case may be, but you're parked up in one specific altcoin, that doesn't matter anymore. You can actually use your shitcoin holdings to support your derivatives trades, to actually, to provide collateral for your derivatives trades. Now, previously, what you needed to hold USDT or BTC or something like that. Not the case anymore on Bybit. So if you still want to stay balls deep on your shitty trade ideas, whether it's XRP or something a little bit more understandable, like, I don't know, you've got long-term holdings in Cardano or whatever, you can actually do that using UTA now, which is super, super cool. So again, that's all available with the link in the description down below. I was actually meeting with 𝗢𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚, I think that's how you say his name, the CEO of Bybit. I've done interviews with him on this YouTube channel. You guys know that, we've been hanging out a little bit. He was telling me a lot about this. And at first I was like, dude, like, this isn't really a big deal. And then he spoke to me about it this way, and I was like, fuck, okay, I see what you're on about now. Like, there's a lot of people, they're still fucking underwater on their bags, or, I mean, you guys know me. I've sold all of my altcoins back in 2018. I probably hold like less than 5% of my crypto in altcoins now. It's just not what I like. But for people that, haven't been able to do that or don't want to, you don't even need to anymore if you want to keep on riding the waves of this market. So that is super, super cool. As far as I know, they're the first and only people that do that in the crypto space right now. I definitely might be wrong about it, but yeah, check it out. Very, very cool offer indeed right there. The dollar is also really interesting. Before we come back to Bitcoin, this is quite captivating actually. If we take a look at the dollar right here, we are clearly at resistance, okay, on this dollar chart. I mean, we've been discussing this quite a bit on the YouTube channel, and I think it's pretty clear. I mean, macro resistance that we've basically had on the dollar since, this is going back to 2022. We are stuck there right now. Now, that said, if we just kind of look at how the dollar has been able to massively shoot up previously, and literally all I've done is I've just extracted this chart right here and I've overlaid it over here. So if the dollar does exactly the same thing that it did basically in July of last year, again, and by the way, that is how the dollar moves, right? We need to keep in mind that the dollar does not move like a stock. It does not move like a cryptocurrency. The dollar is a real currency, and as such, it moves slightly differently. It can actually move very aggressively before having pullbacks. If that kind of thing does end up happening, this is just a visualization of what that could look like. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to go this high and then pull back this much and then go this. Absolutely not. It's just an idea. Our jobs as traders is to visualize different outcomes in the real world and then apply that to the market. So, of course, that's what I'm aiming to do right here as well. And so if we do see the dollar kind of breaking out a little bit higher, this could definitely spell some disaster for crypto, at least to some extent. And this is something that I wanted to highlight with you guys in this YouTube video, because what we are looking at right now, I think, in this market is a situation where, look, I mean, if this whole kind of support block that Bitcoin has right here, kind of down to 25K, if this area kind of fails and ends up dropping down, and Bitcoin ends up dropping down from here, then, support isn't amazing on the way down. I mean, there are definitely a lot of key levels, but, my concern is that the longer you kind of fuck around, the more you find out, basically. And that's an important thing to keep in mind. When you, here, I'll give you a really, really good example. This one's going to really hit home for a lot of people. If we take a look at the $30,000 level here, I mean, we were fucking around for quite a long time, and then we sure as shit found out afterwards when the Bitcoin price halved, when we lost that 30K area of support. And actually, I mean, we can really put this in perspective. Bitcoin didn't drop a cent below, I mean, with a few exceptions over here. It didn't drop down with any meaningful closes or anything like that below the 30K level for quite a while, for 500 days. And then when we finally did lose it, I mean, it was just absolutely rapid the way the market dropped down. So this is really important to be keeping in mind, guys. When you're actually looking at a situation like this where the price is starting to really get comfortable at a support level, or where you're just constantly testing the support level for quite a long time, and especially the longer that becomes, if you do end up getting that drop, usually the steeper that drop is going to be as well. But equally, this is kind of where the opportunity shines for Bitcoin a little bit, because, if we look at this chart right here, just kind of a slightly more zoomed out approach, only focusing on this one area of resistance for Bitcoin right here in the kind of low $28,000 range, this is where that wick was for Bitcoin previously back in August last month. If we're able to get back up to these kind of levels here, and then, of course, more importantly, break them, there's nothing left for Bitcoin until we get to that key $30,000 range. And it's the same thing for the $30,000 range, but this time in the opposite direction, because, over here, and just specifically, if we look at the market since back here, I mean, up to today, it's been, basically half a year since we've been trying to break out of this 30K range. And again, eventually, these levels, the more you test them, you have to expect that they're potentially going to start breaking. And if they do, I mean, it's going to be something a little bit more like a rocket ship, than a slower grind, I think, So that's something which I really want to keep in mind. I've been very confidently telling you guys that, I was just feeling like people were too damn bearish down here. They were too damn bearish down here at fucking support levels, like the exact areas where people like you and I are actually going to start being like, hey, hang on a minute. This is support, and support is where the price bounces. And I read that in page 1, chapter 1 of every fucking technical analysis book ever published in the history of TA books. So maybe there's something to it. And obviously the rest of the crypto market doesn't think that way. They think, oh, the market is crashing, maybe I should sell because it's going to crash way more. And so fear really kind of captivates people and drives them on the other side of your and my trades. They actually provide us the exit liquidity or the entry liquidity, which is absolutely beautiful. So this is the kind of thing that I'm keeping in mind right now. The fact is we haven't really broke anything. We haven't really done anything particularly bad. Yeah, we lost one little support area right here, and that's it, and so really the result of this, if we really do kind of look at what's been happening on this chart, is that we have managed to rally from our low to our high up by 10%, and we've now pulled back by 4%. So those of you that are like me, who love the Fibonacci retracement, you're already probably doing some of them calculations in your head right here. We're potentially not in a particularly bad place. I mean, here's a 382 retracement right here that we're more or less bouncing off of. It's really not that bad of an area on this chart, and this is definitely something which I think is worth paying attention to, because if these kind of support areas hold off these Fibonacci levels, whether it's the 382 down here or the 618 even lower, this is where, my eyebrows are going to be raised, and I'm going to be like, all right, what's going on here? Where's the money at? Because there's some real opportunity to be found with these kind of instances here where we're bouncing off these Fibonacci's and then continuing to rally up. Again, whether that happens off the 382 or off the 618 or off another level, which is significant. In my opinion, those are the two most important levels. So that's why I've only got them displayed on the chart right here. But we can go ahead and show a few more of the, kind of key fib levels that I usually look at. I don't think they're actually particularly relevant right now, so I'm just going to keep it like this. But, this is, I think, really, really interesting. What I don't want you to think is that, the steam is basically out. I mean, that might be what you believe, and that's completely fine. I'm not your financial advisor, you know what I mean? But, what I don't want you to think is that, like, we've lost every single hope, basically. That was, that would not be technically accurate, I think, given what I'm seeing on this chart right here. I just don't think that we are necessarily at that point yet. The S&P 500, for example, is still consolidating. Yes, we have dropped down a little bit, but we haven't broken anything yet. We've kind of lost that structure of a bull flag, but we've still got support right here. We haven't swept our previous low, and that could definitely come. I mean, this is a big gap down. It's an ugly trading session for the S&P 500, so I'm not saying that it's all sunshine and rainbows out here, but, we still haven't, kind of quite done, I think, what, the way people are reacting versus what's actually happening in the market. I feel like they're kind of two different things, and they're quite far apart right now. So, that's something which I'm definitely going to continue to pay very, very close attention to as we continue to go on in this market right here. Just coming back down to these support levels, watching to see how we're able to use these support levels as well, including some of the key ones that really are quite consistently useful for Bitcoin, like the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud. This is going to come into action literally in 2 days from now. So, it's really not that far away anymore. Definitely something which I think is worth keeping in mind as a primary consideration. But with that, guys, I actually don't have a lot of time today, so I'm going to have to head off on that note. If you have enjoyed this one, you know exactly what to do. I want to flash these steps on screen if you want to get yourself inside of VIP, and also remind you guys again about this huge bonus with Bybit and the massive utility in those unified trading accounts. So like I said, just one more time, if you are one of those guys that's just balls fucking deep in a coin that's not Bitcoin and a coin that's not USDT, you can still trade using those holdings on Bybit, which again is new. Usually you would need to hold USDT, you would need to hold Bitcoin in order to trade these markets on leverage, but that's not the case anymore. With Bybit, you can use these unified trading accounts. Ben 𝗀, the CEO founder, was telling me the same thing just face to face. This happened like yesterday, I think. Yeah, this was yesterday I spoke to him about it, and it was quite eye-opening. Yeah, it's definitely, it's legit, it's something to keep in mind. It's something that's quite useful. So if that's you, then check it out. And if it's not you, but you still haven't got your free $30,000 bonus, then go check that out. All you got to do is use my link and start trading, and you're sorted. If you do want to use an exchange that does not require KYC, then BingX is an amazing solution as well. And of course, the key selling point for me with BingX is the fact that they give me access to traditional finance markets. So, I can trade markets like Tesla and Amazon and so on, which is super cool. You can do that with a Bitcoin deposit. So, that's basically one of a kind as far as I know. Of course, we've also got, real world currencies as well. These are crypto coins. What am I doing? We can do like USD Canadian, for example, and see what's up over there. So there is a lot to play with here beyond just crypto, which I think is really useful. I've already got an S&P 500 trade planned out on this exchange, which I've informed VIPs about. So it's something that I'm very interested in taking action on. Obviously, I'm not going to rush a trade. You know me. But, that's what I'm seeing right there, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So there you go, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. You know what to do if you have. Hit up the like, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next one. By the way, real quick, I'm using a Shure SM7B, and I've got this fucking buzzing sound. I can't seem to get rid of it. I'm using a cloud lifter and like a Focusrite 2i2. I don't even know what I'm saying, but I've tried like unplugging shit. I've tried pressing the buttons. I don't even know what's going wrong. Adjusting the gain. Nothing seems to fix it. If you have any solutions, I know it's not a software issue. It is purely hardware. It's cabling. When I had some guys come into my office, this shit just started to happen. So if you have any suggestions, if this is like a super easy fix, then please let me know in the comments. But otherwise, I'll sort it out. Don't worry about it. But yeah, thank you very much. I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.